All right, Coach Smiley, the Buzzy Gun Trophy is on the line. You get to go visit the old friends over at Bridge City.
Yes, sir.
But the kids don't think anything's friendly over there, especially after last year's loss. Talk about, I guess, defending that game and clinching a playoff spot.
Well, you hit it. The last thing you said is the key thing. We're out to get a playoff spot, and that's what we fight for, and we battle for all years to have a chance at the end. And it just so happens that we're playing Bridge City for that spot. So yeah, it does. It does make the game a little funner. It does make the game a little more interesting. It's just a unique experience that these kids from these both communities get to go through for a win-and-you're-in type environment to go against your crosstown rival. So, you know, last year's game, Bridge City came out on top. Pretty dominant performance by Bridge City. So some of these kids played in that game last year. They obviously remember that feeling of walking off the field in defeat, and so it's kind of a redemption thing. They want to go over there and redeem last year's game, but also secure a playoff spot more than anything.
I believe 2 years ago, Orangefield did win that game, but they had to win by a certain number of points, and it didn't happen. They did not get the playoff spot.
Sure.
Talk about how this year it's a little different. You've gotten your business done before that game arrived, so now you just win the game and you're in. Talk about that.
I think a couple years ago they had to beat us by 5. I was at Bridge City at the time, and they ended up beating us by 2. And it's kind of a weird feeling after the game. You know, our kids were depressed that they lost, but happy that we're going to playoffs. And the Orangefield kids were, you know, happy that they won, but mad that they didn't go to the playoffs. So it's kind of a weird deal. But I think this is the first time it's come down to the last game where no points were involved, where it's just a you win and you're in type scenario, which I think is how everybody wants it. You want to control your own destiny. You want things to be handled by how you perform, and you don't need help from anybody else. So it ought to be an interesting night.
Talk about who's stepped up for y'all so far to this point in the season.
Well, you know, I say everybody. I mean, that's easy to say as a coach, but the offensive lines performed well. But the big area that we were unsure about coming into the year is quarterback. You know, Eric Trunkali is his first year to play quarterback for us at high school level, varsity level, and he's performed really well. So he's been a good surprise for us. Carl Wiley, obviously, he was good last year. He's been good this year. And defensively, we've had a lot of help from Levi Shores and Tyron Como. I just think it's a total team effort, but certainly the quarterback play has been key for us this year.
Bridge City's going to attack you with their spread attack.
Sure.
How do you defend theirs, I guess, differently from a Silsbee or a West Orange Stark? What do you look at? Because you know their running game is pretty solid.
You got it all starts with number 34. Ashton Hunter is a heck of a running back, and he's had a great year. And so we know that if we allow him to just run all over us, it's going to be a long night for us. So it starts with stopping the running game, and then you got to just try to do things in the secondary, try to move things around to maybe try to confuse Falk a little bit. He's had a good year for him. You know, and you got to get pressure on him. If we don't get any pressure on him and he's allowed to sit back there all night and throw, he's going to pick us apart. So, you know, it starts with the running game. They spread people out to run, and but also you got to put pressure on Falk, because if you give him all day to throw, he finds some good receivers to throw it to.
All right, we got to talk about my boy Stump over there. Any trash text or trash talking going on this week?
No, not for me anyway. I'll say no. I don't get involved in that. I want the kids to settle it on the field. Now, we did have a Bayou Bowl banquet last night where both teams got together and we ate and had a little ceremony. And I think Coach Stump, you know, he has jokes as he always does, and he's a great guy. He's enabled me to grow as a coach and enabled me and allowed me to kind of be in the position I am. So I've got nothing but respect for that guy. I do have a little more hair than he does, but not much more, but it's going fast. So if there's any trash talking, I guess that's about it, is the hair thing. But other than that, no, you won't hear any trash talking out of me.
All right, Coach, good luck this Friday night in the 2012 Bayou Bowl.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for coming out. Go Mizzou.